Yo, it's your main man, King Castro X, coming at you live and direct with the Comic Cons podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we in the building. As you see, there was an absence in the air, and that is the absence of the one, the only young Master Jules, my brother, my partner, my lovely co-host, ladies and gentlemen. He is actually at home asleep. It is currently 3:51 a.m. That's nuts. Shout out to my boy in the building today, man. I got a very special guest with us here today, man. Thank you, brother, for your patience. Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. We have the one, the only. This man is an artist. He is a podcaster. He is a collector. He is an all-around great dude, great man to hang out with. A historian of figures, a historian of many other things. He's the one man that taught me about Jim Thorpe. Ladies and gentlemen, sweet baby Rob from Classic Wolf Podcast, man. Welcome to the building, brother. How you doing?
What up, dudes? What's going on? It's going pretty good. Thank you for having me on your show, brother.
Of course, bro. Of course. This is the second time we've done this intro, guys. I'm gonna break the fourth wall and tell y'all honestly. We tried this on another app, had some issues, but we got Rob in the building. This is episode 16 as well, kids. Bro, welcome. It's such an honor to have you. It's a pleasure to have you. I've got to do your show back to back, I think twice now, maybe three times I've been on your show. Love being on the show, love listening to the show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's all around
Yes, sir.
awesome to have you here, brother. Um, as I had mentioned, guys, my boy right here, Big Rob, is a collector of sorts. He collects figures as well as comic books. Now, before we had to end the last recording, we were about to get into some really juicy deets on this super secret, super sexy collector trip he just took over there in Arizona, guys. He got to go to a toy con. We'll start off with that. Big Rob, do you want to get into that, man? You want to tell us about your adventure you just had?
Yeah, the Toy Con, it was called Epic Toy Show here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I was very excited to go because, I haven't been to a Comic Con, Toy Con, anything like that in a very long time before the pandemic started. So it was just a nice time just to get out and spend some money, which I was very glad to didn't go over my budget. So
Mhm.
because I grabbed a couple of figures, um, I had to pull the trigger on something that was very unique to my eye, and I was like debating to get it. But overall, a bunch of good people, good other collectors. I met a good, I met a good dude there. He was his name is Johnny. Big shout out to him. Gave me some very good deals. Shout out to his was it his company called Susie and Johnny Martini over at Chandler, Arizona. Go check them out. They sell a lot of collectibles out of his father's flower shop. So go check it out. He has a bunch of good shit, a bunch of really good replicas of um, vintage we call them arcade games and
Mm.
change we call it replicas too, which I grabbed one. I'll probably show it right now. It's really dope because this is what I was looking for. I don't know if you can see it.
You
It's
gotta, unfortunately, you gotta unblur the background. We can't see it yet.
okay, hold on quick.
Super excited though. How cool is that? That this guy's slinging figs and replicas outside of the his parents' flower shop. Like that's so unique. Yeah, that looks amazing, man. What's the scaling like on this change machine compared to your figures? Like when if you hold up a McFarlane figure or a Legends fig, what's that like for you? Is it like real life size with like it
Well,
like
this is
it's
like a six.
okay?
This is a 6 inch figure, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's very. I said probably like 1/4 scale. What is
Mm,
that? So
yeah.
it's very big, and the other arcade games compared to this is bigger like this bigger.
Really? Really?
Yeah,
So they
so
got some
it's
height on them. The one thing I did get to see some video ladies and gentlemen watching at home, Rob shot me some video through the gram. It's where we
Mhm.
communicate back and forth. There, 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 there. But
Uh,
you know what I'm saying? So I got to see some video and the graphics, okay, which is a really weird thing to say. I know you guys are like, Castro, what are you talking about? The graphics though on the display, on the little video screen on these arcades look just like the arcade game. It was crazy. It was moving and lighting up and all kinds of stuff, man. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off though, brother.
Also, those games, man, they're playable. They're
No
like
way.
buttons. Yeah, you can play them too. I looked it up. I looked at his toy shop, and yeah, he's just sitting there playing those little video games. I was like, dude, why did I not
That's
grab that too? But like I said, I didn't want to like break the bank, man. I just wanted to
right.
stay within my budget. So I'm glad I got this changed though, because it's a not only it's cool, but it's more cooler because it is a phone charger.
Oh, no way. It charges phones. That's
Yeah,
really
it's charging
unique
my
too.
phone right now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, baby.
pretty awesome, man. And how much was that, if you don't mind me asking?
He gave me a good price. It was 60, but I got it off of 40,
For sure. That's a deal. That's a big deal.
40
I
bucks.
would have probably picked it up too, man. I uh I saw I was on the phone with Japan TMT. You know who Japan TMT is. Kids at home, Japan TMT is a fellow
Yeah.
collector out in Japan. Uh that me and Rob both know from Instagram. Anyway, man, he went to a toy store out there in Japan, had me on video chat. You know how we do. And
Yeah.
brother, he found these little like crane machines that looked really cool for dios too. Like you know the the claws that like pick up stuffed animals and stuff. Like at the
Yeah.
Walmart or you know wherever they do that. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, he found a miniature
I know.
one that like went with figures as well as like a ramen dispenser one that was a vending machine that dispensed ramen and stuff. And I was like, those would
Whoa.
be really unique to have a fix. And that's what the change machine in the arcades remind me of. So I think those are really cool. I want to ask you, man, one of my favorite things when it comes to cons or conventions is it it's always you mentioned you met a lot of good people, right?
Hmm.
I've learned that like at things like this, especially when it comes to fandom or nerdom, like it's always a good positive time and people all seem to be on the same page. And by that, it's like we all share one thing in common, and that's that we are absolutely obsessed with something in the nerd world, be that
Yeah.
figures, be that comics, be that anime, be that film. And because we are all obsessed with this one thing, somehow it unites us all. And there's just a uniformity going on. You know what I mean? Everybody's together. There's no judgment. It's a judgment free zone when you walk into a con. Do you want to comment on that at all?
Yeah, man. When you go there, there's no beef. It's just beef if you
No
get there
beef.
first.
Facts.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
picking up
Get
my
there.
toy before I can.
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's a couple of figures that I did not get that I wanted to get a Tokastro that I wanted to get some Batman figures and well actually I did get a Batman figure from when I was a kid. I was like 13, maybe 14, but this is the figure. It is a Batman toothface. And
That's
wow,
so
how good
dope.
is that, man?
It's coming through
Oh
beautiful
yeah,
too.
yeah. That oh yeah, I wanted to do a unboxing with you right now.
Oh, sweet. Unboxing. This will be the first. Actually, this will be the second. Jules unboxed a Beast Boy one time, but this will be the first special guest unboxing we've ever had right here on the chat, guys.
Oh,
So this is gonna be exciting.
I'm glad to be the first, man. But dude, how good is that one dude, Johnny? Big shout out. I got this Skeletor
Oh wow.
from
Whoa.
the Netflix show.
That looks beautiful too. He's beast.
Guess how
Yeah, that's
much I bought it, dude?
amazing. I want to
Guess how
highlight
much?
how much did you let me guess, maybe 40?
Nah, bro. Lower.
30. Lower.
Lower. Mm.
$15.
Lower. Oh,
What? 10?
lower.
No way you got it lower than 10. $5.
Exactly. Ding, 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 ding.
That's insane. So
$5.
those Revelations characters are going for, say, I know above $15 right now. Am I right? That's insane, bro. That's a humongous find right there. Um, yeah, that's incredible. I do want to highlight as well, guys. I have been begging. Me and Rob do a thing outside of the Comic Cons podcast and Classic Wolf podcast. On Instagram called Talking Toys with the Boys. And that's where we go on there. We talk figures and things like that. It's kind of like our own little mini show. And on that show, Rob has been showing off his collection for the past 3 weeks, his figure collection. And I've been begging him to do an unboxing video for us. And he has not unboxed anything. So we finally got him here. We're privileged to have an unboxing going down right here, right now on the
Right
pod.
here,
Sing it.
right here, right now. But yeah, dude.
That's beautiful.
When I did an unboxing on my Instagram, that was the unboxing of the change machine.
Mhm.
So I was like thinking and debating. I was like, should I unbox it on this right now on my live? But I was like, no, I'm gonna save it for Castro.
That's
So
love, bro. That's love. It's greatly appreciated. Yeah, let's bust that fig open. While you're busting that thing open, though, hey yo, I'm gonna ask you some more questions, brother. I'm gonna dig into you some more. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, I want to keep talking to you about the collector thing, man, but there's so many other great things that need be addressed. First and foremost, the way I met you, which was through one of our good friends, shout out Russell Sun Eagle from the Okie podcast, Miss Reservation Mysteries, you know what I'm saying, which the name is potentially changing as well. But the way I met you was through the Classic Wolf podcast, man. That's your show. Kind of
right.
talk to me about how that podcast came together, what it's all about, where you got the name from, because the name is incredible. And I've actually asked you this question off air before as well. I feel like the audience deserves to hear it, man. But yeah, talk to us about the influence as you're opening that package for us.
Well, a classical podcast is basically I talk about everything and retro, like movies, comics, toys, collectibles, and I go on a little bit of the deeper side as well. Uh, what the collecting and what these other figures, movies, what brings us back to a very classic memory, and to
Mm,
put ourselves back then, and to put ourselves now. So it's like something that I remember, like I said, this Batman I haven't seen in years. And when we moved, that's the last time I saw it. And to share a story like that, like we would see these figures or posters or movies, just things from our childhood, and we think about that back then. But as I talk about that too, I kind of go on the deep end of sharing what a genuine feeling of, like, of going back then, of I always say like a touching side of the classic wolf. And I
mm,
try to bring that lightness to people, because I've been like depressed, I've been in anxiety and all that stuff like that, and I put it in to my show to show people, to not to be afraid of, your intentional feelings, your genuine feelings, and not try to hide it and be your true self, because we all today, we hide that true self, that inner self, and try to block it off from the world, like figures and nerdiness. Like when you go to high school, you want to be hanging out with people that are like,
right.
think about figures and
You
stuff
want
like
to
that.
fit in.
Yeah, you want to fit in type thing, and you hide all
Mm,
that stuff. And it just like that, I came out with the episode of when I was in high school, putting up a front and not showing off my true self. And right now, being in the Comic Cons and going to toy conventions, I could be my true self, because
mhm.
I love figures, I love collecting, I love talking to people about nerdiness. And that's what the Classic Wolf is all about. It's just being your true self and being you. And don't try to be somebody else just because somebody wants you to be that person.
I think that that's absolutely beautiful, man. And as somebody that's been on the show and listened to the show, kids, I validate all of that. That's all the truth, man. That's one of the things I've told you off air. Is the thing I love most about your show is that it's raw and it's genuine. On top of that, cherry on top is that we get a taste
Yeah.
into all things nerdy, man, and I'm a big fan of it. How'd you get started on your podcast journey, my brother?
Well, the podcast journey, don't mind the noise. I'm just trying to open these figures, but
You're good. You're good. Super hyped to see.
uh
Is that your first He-Man figure, by the
yeah,
way?
tell
Sorry.
I think I have one or
Okay.
two,
Nice. Nice.
but I don't know, that's like back in storage. So I
Okay.
could be wrong. Maybe this is my first He-Man figure.
It's the
Oh,
first I've seen that you have, brother.
but yeah, and this is just a good ass deal, and yeah, man. But
Nice.
what?
Your
Sorry, what was the question
podcast
again?
journey. How did you get into podcasting?
Oh, um, how I got into podcasting. Really, my podcast was really supposed to be a Twitch stream
Nice.
about just like trying to get into video games. But
Mm-hmm.
I was back then as a kid. I'm making all these grunting noise as I'm opening this He-Man figure.
It's all good. You saw, I don't know if you got to tune into my
Wait,
unboxing of
dude, no.
Raven the other day, but like I was making the loudest noises, ripping the box, making all these. I sounded like Macho Man Randy Savage. It was horrible. So no worries. You make your grunts
Yeah.
as you tell your story. Don't even worry about it, man. We're here for it, brother. But yeah, he's having the toughest time, kids. Getting through that.
But how I got into podcasting,
Yeah.
it was really, yeah, like I said, it was really supposed to be a Twitch, and
Mm,
the name for my Twitch stream was going to be what was it? What was it? Artistic Flock.
fire.
Yeah, and when I showed Russell, I think, yeah, I think he was like the first person I showed the Artistic Flock. It was just like, I know, like a hand making a bird sign like this, but the point with the paintbrush in the middle, and I was just thinking about like, oh yeah, this is gonna be my podcast name, and I'm gonna be doing a badass logo for this podcast, but aka Twitch, and I don't know, it's something after that I just didn't really feel it anymore. I didn't
Mm.
really feel that name like it was gonna work,
It no
and I
longer
was like,
resonated with you, huh?
yeah, I was just like, I kept on meditating on it, and I kept on like thinking about it, like, what do I want? What do I want to talk about? Because that's the biggest thing in podcast. What am I going to talk about?
It's very true.
And what is my voice going to share with other people? What are people going to listen to me and tune in? And what is the logo going to be? And how is it going to roll off of people's tongue when they say it, type
Mm.
thing. So I was thinking like, okay, classic Wolf. Not classic Wolf, but I was like, okay, what am I going to talk about? Classics. Okay, classic movies. I was like, okay, classic. Okay, cool, classic stuff. We're going to talk about wrestling, comics, um, retro stuff, and so I was like, okay, classic. First name, all right. And I was like, and I was thinking about it like more harder, like over here, I tell people on my pod like I don't really have that much friends. I have
Mhm.
like a small circle, so I'm mostly like a lone wolf.
Mhm.
So I was like, how about classic wolf?
That's
So
awesome.
that's how that name came to be of, starting my podcast, and especially like jumping off and doing a podcast. I was really how would you say, shy with
Mhm.
my voice because I didn't know if anybody would like my voice. And Russell, big shout out to him. He just told me, you just got to do it. You just got to put that one episode out, And so that's what I did. Put that one episode out, and I know it was like six minutes, but I knew in my mind I had to put another episode out the next week, and then another episode. So I started going on and being consistent of my
Mhm.
show. So yeah, that's how the Classic Wolf came to be, and that's what that's me now. Like 58, 59, maybe 60 episodes. Yeah.
Big congrats on that number, first and foremost. Second, man, I just think that that's so incredible that you basically you took that leap into it. Yes, you were shy. Yes, you were intimidated. You know what I mean? You were nervous to do it. You didn't know how people were going to hear your voice. I also went
Yeah.
through that with my journey in podcasting. I went through a whole awkward phase with my voice as well, man. Like where I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this, but the fact that you stepped out, you did it the first time, and this is for you guys at home, man. You stepped out, you did it the first time, and then you just continued to pursue it, and you got better and better, and then here you are, potentially 60 something episodes in. I also wanted to say, man, what I think is really cool, man, is that as you were breaking down the name, man, the thing I kept thinking about the most is that obviously you review things, all things nerdy, but you lone wolf it. It's almost like the Comic Con's podcast, except you, my friend, go about the battle on your own. And I think that's pretty awesome, man. So shout out to you. Shout out to the show. I'm a huge fan of the show. Like I said, luckily I know Russell Sun Eagle, man, and that's how I got onto you. And through Russell and through the podcast, I will say here live in front of the people, man, I feel like I've formed a wonderful bond, brother, and friendship, and it's just dope to be associated with you and know you and get to continue to grow, man. So it's been a
Beautiful
good
feelings, man.
thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wanted to say, brother, not only do you you got it open. Let's take a look at the fig. Let's take a look at the fig. So this is Skeletor. What version of
Yeah.
Skeletor is this though? That cape is beautiful. Is that cloth? That
Yeah,
is
it's
cloth.
cloth.
Nice butt shot. That's needed. That's needed. Mind letting us get the frontal region. That's nice, man. That cape. How does the cloth feel, crotch shot?
It was yeah, it feels nice.
Yeah.
Have you had like the old Batman figures
I've
when
not
you're a
got a
kid?
cloth caped Batman yet, man. I have not.
Mm. Well, this is
So
how it feels.
oddly enough, in my collection, you know what my collection is now, Rob. It's mainly McFarlane figures, right? Oddly enough, the
Yeah.
figures I had as a kid was a Buzz Lightyear. I had mini Buzz Lightyears, one of my favorite toys of all time. And then I had a bunch of wrestlers. I didn't have superhero figures really. I just had a bunch of pro wrestlers as a kid, man. I had the ring, I had the Hell in a
Mhm.
Cell, the steel cage, all the belts and stuff like that. I had a lot of that. For some reason, I never really got a lot of superhero figs, man. So that I think that's why I kind of just go in on superheroes so hard. I'm like, I didn't have those. I need those. You know what I mean? So do you know what version of
Yeah.
Skeletor this is? This is from the Kevin Smith run, you said, right?
Yeah, this is the Kevin Smith. Yeah, this is like I've seen the show. This is when he has He-Man's sword. So this is
Mm,
why how big he is. So yeah, this is He-Man's sword right here.
nice.
Yeah, so pretty dope. Nice
It looks good.
plastic. So, doesn't really have that much articulation in the shoulders.
Right.
Um, it's just yeah, just the elbow and wrist action. Um, legs don't go up that high.
Hmm.
Basically, it's just the ankle has a lot of support, a lot of articulation of the ankle.
That's dope.
Um, so yeah, just doesn't really, yeah, doesn't really bend well, but I think it's just for show, just to put on the show.
Man, I've become obsessed. You know what I like when it comes to my articulation lately is in the tummy, bro. The torso articulation. I'm a big fan of that. That Raven I just picked up has the yeah. See, I didn't think he had that. That's why I brought it up. That's awesome. He has that at least. You know what I'm saying? How's the head
Yeah,
articulation?
Oh yeah, yeah. This dude, yeah, he can move around pretty dope.
Nice, nice. Yeah. I didn't expect him to have that much head game, if you will. But
Mm.
it's pretty vicious, you know what I'm saying? He's dope, bro. He's dope. So that's He-Man after he catches the you know what I'm saying, the sword then. That's incredible, man. I love it. Thank you for doing an unboxing on our show too. Like I said, you're the first you know what I'm saying, special guest. It's like, let me bust open a fig here for you. You know what I mean? So I think that that's it's pretty
Yeah,
amazing, brother. So we talked a little bit about kind of how you got started with the Classic Wolf podcast, what the Classic Wolf podcast is all about, Rob. But there's other great things that you do as well that I don't know if the audience quite knows, at least our audience. I know your audience knows. But
mm,
our audience, brother, you're also a comic book artist or an aspiring comic book artist. But all around artist, you know what I'm saying? Just in and of itself, you do art, really amazing art. You went to school for it. You're constantly drawing really cool pieces, man. You drew a picture of me and Jules sometime back. That's on the Instagram. Kids, go check that out. You drew a picture of sweet baby Russ. You know what I'm saying, from the Oki
mm.
podcast and Magnez and Toke Signals and all the great podcasters. You know what I'm saying, brother? Talk to us kind of about your art journey, what you're looking to do with that. And then, I mean, we have some things that potentially, you know what I'm saying, we could spoil here on the show today for the kids if you want as well, man. So go ahead.
Okay, well, my comic book journey, being a comic book artist, I got very inspired by other comic book artists like
Mhm.
Jim Lee, Alex Ross. Always talk about him. Um, Todd McFarlane, Frank Miller, all these good ass art,
Yes.
man, that I love, and I
Let
love
me
just watch. What's
let me
that?
ask you really quick, not to cut you off, but to add on, brother, because I love you. Frank Miller, when it comes to his art, what are your views on that? Because it's not the normal style, right? Everybody's so pristine and precise, and their art's really crisp. When you look, and then you look at Frank Miller's, and it's kind of rough and oddly shaped at times, and like just big and bulky. What do you think about the Frank Miller art style?
Well, from what I learned, from other artists, big artists know the anatomy of comic book style and with the other anatomy, the human anatomy.
Hmm.
But people like to I mean a big what was it? What was his name? He said it best. Comic book artists love to cheat, because it's like we're making cool art. And that's the greatest deal right there, is just to make cool art.
Hmm.
And to just like we already know about the anatomy, but we want to put our own flavor into it. And we wanted to express ourselves of grabbing other people's like expire like my inspiring artists like give me motivation, like
Right.
Alex Ross. Like I put all of that, like some of his in mind. Jim Lee, just like just other artists. I love to put them in my artwork. Shit.
Right, right. Did you get
My
that notification?
Yeah.
Okay. What'll happen, guys? We're recording through Zoom. We got a 10-minute noti. I don't have Pro yet. Like I said, I usually use Skype, or whatever their package is. What's gonna happen? We'll probably part two this. Don't even worry about it, guys. Continue, brother. Yeah, we'll end this one and go on to the next one in just a second.
And yeah, I just get inspired by other artists. And that's the biggest thing of just being an artist, of just being inspired and to create cool art. Because when I was starting my comic book journey, I know there's a lot of like horror stories with, you know, artists gatekeeping.
Yes.
And I got gatekeeped, man, like hard. And I was with my daughter too, man. It was on comic book day. And I was like, fuck, man. Like I tell this story on my pod. It was like my first couple episodes that I told the story, but
Mm-hmm.
on your podcast, I'll share it. But I went to go to this comic book store. It was called Atomic Comics. And there was other artists there
Mm-hmm.
and showing their artwork. And signing comic books, and I'm not gonna say any names, but this particular artist, I was like, hey man, I'm an aspiring comic book artist. Can you just look at my work? He's like, yeah. And then he called me out on it. He's like, what the fuck is this? And I was like,
That's how he
dude,
said it.
yeah, what the fuck is this? And I was like, that's my artwork, and this is like how I want to, you know, what was a character, and I don't know what kind of character it was. I can't think off the dome, but he was like, uh, you got anything else? So he started switching the pages, and back then I did graffiti.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, okay, you're a graffiti artist. Okay, I think you should, you know what? This fucking sucks, dude. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like,
Wow.
yeah, he's like, I think it's best for you to do little kid books.
That's
I was
so
like,
foul, bro. That's
oh. Yeah,
crazy that
dude.
he
I
would
was like,
talk to you like that.
yeah, he's like, yeah. He's like, well, this is bullshit. So he just threw it back at me. And my daughter was right there. And I was like, fuck, if my daughter wasn't here, my daughter was like, I think she was like 4 years old back then, but I had the Arthur fist.
Mm-hmm. That's
That's why I
the
really
Arthur fist. I can't believe you just referenced that. That's hilarious.
yeah, dude, that's why I really just like, I don't know, like I have anger management problems, and I have big patience too. So, and I fucking was about ready to just jump over that table and just fucking
No,
just
that
choke
that's
him.
I completely understand that feeling. It just the like even if he didn't like your art, he could have went about criticizing it, critiquing it in a way that's positive for you. You know what I'm saying. You tell me a story oftentimes, and you weren't critiqued necessarily in this one, but McFarlane took a look at your art, and what did he say?
He's like, you have a unique eye in art.
Yeah,
That was like inspiring moment, like of having a big artist say this about my work.
right, right.
This guy, yeah,
Go ahead.
this guy was up there too,
Mm-hmm.
but of saying that to another inspiring artist, you shouldn't have said that to a person
Just
because
shutting down people's dreams, man. You
yeah,
know,
like yeah, I was just say I fucking went home and like I was just looking at my artwork and I was fucking had that. Have you seen La Bamba?
I haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, your listeners, what I'm talking about. Have you seen La Bamba? The brother Bob goes into his art studio and just tears off all of his artwork.
I just see you cutting off all your hair, fucking in the shower, crying, like drinking
Burning all
beer.
my clothes.
Yeah, just there's no reason for it. Like I'm gonna need these to be dressed tomorrow, but like I'm burning them today, man. It's over. That's one thing I don't get though in the art community. In the comic book art community, it's in the hip hop scene too, man. You know what I'm saying? It's in every scene, the comedian scene, all these little scenes I've tapped into. People like to try to gatekeep, brother, but that gets nobody nowhere, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all about uplifting the new artists, the new up and coming, giving them a shot and an opportunity. You know what I mean? And you know what it really is it's like you're a threat to their job, to potentially taking their piece of the cut, the money or whatever that may be, man, unfortunately. But again, I want to bring back the idea of positive criticism. You've been spending some time with some old teachers of yours, man. You've been sitting in some art. And you told me a wonderful piece of advice you had received the other day. And that's like, you should concentrate on the backgrounds a bit more. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You can draw these dope characters, but here they are in this big empty space, right? So
Yeah.
that's one thing Rob's currently working on, guys, is building out now, landscapes, figure or not figures, buildings, things like that. That is an example of, wouldn't you say, positive criticism, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what he told me. Like, damn his name, but yeah, he's a guy that I'm training under, and he was just telling me like you draw, like he said, big beautiful figures, but it's missing something. It's
Mhm.
missing the background because the background also tells the story.
Right.
And with that guy not telling me, of becoming better, just shooting like positive vibes and giving me an inspiration of telling me and showing me a direction where to go instead of just gatekeeping me and making me feel bad about my artwork.
Right.
And now, like, thinking about it, like, I know it was good and I could have been better if he would have said something positive
He
of
could have
me.
sent you on a lane of like, hey, work on this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Versus just shutting it down, man. Who is this guy to say anything? And I don't care who he is. That's a rhetorical question. You know, it doesn't matter what
Yeah.
level you are, bro. Like, chill the fuck out. Like, it's not that big of a deal. You draw superheroes, son. Leave me alone. I'll punch you in the chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't talk to me like that.
I'll slap your titties.
Exactly. Common respect, man. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. I hate that you had to go through that, Rob. But I've seen your art, as have many others, man. And I will say at this time, where it stands, it's beautiful. You guys got to check out his work. It's on the Classic Wolf podcast page on Instagram, kids. I don't know if it's on the Facebook. There's some on my page at Comic Cons podcast, some on Russell Sunnigal's page, and I'm sure many great podcasters and comic book people alike down the line, kids. You know what I'm And we're back, kids. So sorry for that delay. Like I said, we had to jump and switch apps, but we are back in the building, still here with Classic Wolf Podcast. Rob Jackson, my man, sweet baby Rob. Brother, do you want to turn on your camera, big dog? My man, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Before we had to take that quick break, we were talking about art, we were talking about comic book creating, we were talking about gatekeeping, my brother. And as I was saying, man, I do feel like that is a very unfortunate thing, man. Um, but here we are now. You are currently drawing, man, and you've been practicing comic book art for quite some time. Do you have any intentions on getting into the comic book industry, the comic book universe, maybe creating your own comic books? Hint, hint, wink, wink. I'll let you take it from here, man.
Most definitely, man. Like, after, like, I've been talking to you about and looking through old sketchbooks of mine when I
Mm-hmm.
was in college, and um going over them with you and seeing all my old artwork. It's just a lot of potential, man. It's just a lot of potential for me
Definitely is.
to get back into it. And not I should have never stopped. When there's other stories too that have gone through what I've been through, but they didn't stop. They kept going. Like, big ups to Stan Lee,
Mm-hmm.
the great man, the GOAT. But when people told him that his idea was stupid, he just
Mm-hmm.
kept on doing it, and yeah, making movies and everything that's going on right now. I should have never let somebody like that, going back to the story of telling me that. I could have just kept going, but I didn't. I just got back in my feelings, and that really led me into drinking and depression and everything like that. But I told myself, no, I gotta turn this shit around and go to art school. So that's what I
Right.
did. And I met a lot of good professors there that really saw the potential in me and really wanted me to be better. So right now, my big goal is to be better. But like I said on my podcast, um, these gifts that we have, I always want to reach out to us in our subconscious and to build something and to go on that back on that right track. And that's what I really, really felt deep within myself to keep going in my
Mm-hmm.
art journey. And when I saw all my art, the whole artwork that I'd done, that really pushed me. And from you too, that I didn't know that I did comic book art, that really wanted me to test my hand in it again, and test my flow. And that's when I started doing sketches again.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck, man, I'm really good. And I was teaching myself subconsciously that all these other stuff that I used to do, I've gotten way more better than I was like
Right.
2 years ago, 3 years ago. And right now, maybe next month, maybe the following month, because I'm keeping an art pad next to me, of just taking notes, of just learning from different comic book artists and wanting to be better within myself. And with that, I just thought about, going over it with you. I started another comic book. I started
Mm-hmm.
a comic book that I started when I was in college, and that I was about really to throw that away too. And it's a good thing I didn't, because there was a lot of stories in there, and especially like the one that I threw away before that, there was a bunch of potential stories in there too,
Right.
but I threw it away. And this one that I saw that I remember just drawing in, I was like, no, I'm gonna look through this art book. So that's when I saw my old layouts of
Right.
the potential comic book character in the comic book that I was writing back then.
Hmm.
So that
I think
was,
that that's so cool that you found all of these hidden gems basically in your old journals, man. Going back and checking those out. Uh, and potentially, there's just spoiler alert, kids. We don't got to go into deep details, Rob. Through that journal that he almost threw away, we found a book that potentially we're going to be working on together coming soon. Soon within the next, year to year and a half or so. You know what I mean? It takes time, but you know what I'm saying. Shout out to Big Rob, man, for holding on to that, because without that, we may never have even thought about writing a comic together, man. So and doing art. So it's incredible, man. I'm glad you're sticking to it. The fact that you're improving every day, you're practicing, working on your craft, because this is what it takes, kids. You know what I mean? You got to constantly work at what you want to be good at. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen overnight, brother. And it's so beautiful that you're doing it. I've been seeing improvement. I'm a big fan of your art, man, and I'm just excited to see where it goes for you as an individual and with us, man. I'm so excited to work on something with you, man.
yeah.
So definitely, definitely, brother. I wanted to ask you, brother, as far as collecting goes, because that's another big thing that we do, as we talked about earlier on in the show, guys. You know what I'm saying? What would be your top three toy lines if you had to name a toy line? Figure I'd throw a fun one in on there on you.
Damn. I think I love collecting
Hmm.
Hasbro's, and now, well, let me see. Hmm, Hasbro's, Mattel's a good one.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. Damn, that's a good one though.
It is. You don't have to give me three. I got the number one, so that's what matters the most. Uh, you know what I'm saying? So moving on, you know what I'm saying? I know you're a big movie guy as well. I got two more questions like this. So I'm gonna ask you the movie question, and then I got one more question for you, just throwing in some zingers. Give me top three greatest movies to you personal. It's a personal
Oh,
question
dude.
of all freaking time, my guy. I need this. I need this.
Oh, everybody knows me and that listens to me on my pod. I always talk about Peter Herman. That's my number one
Okay.
movie. Peter Herman's Big Adventure.
Pee
I don't know.
Wee Herman's Big Adventure. Okay, what about this film makes it that film for you?
Oh, dude, my brother, my oldest brother, used to babysit me
Mhm.
when I was a kid, and that movie was always in the VCR. If you guys don't know what a VCR is, Google it, and yeah, you know how old I am.
Really quick, I don't know if I told you. Rob, your boy finally got his VCR. So I've been watching
Sheesh.
VHS tapes for the past 2 days. I watched Aliens, I watched Good Morning Vietnam. Amazing movie. If
Oh
you kids
man,
haven't seen it, it's such a gem. And then I watched Street Fighter this morning. But anyway, continue.
the old
Yeah, yeah. I got it. It's put up in the box already.
Van Damme.
Yeah, Van Damme. Actually,
Oh,
that's my first Van Damme movie too. Never watched a Van Damme film, so this was my first.
you have to watch Dick Tracy. I know you have that movie.
I own it on VHS, so I will watch it. I promise. I give you my word.
Okay, and right now you gotta find Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure and tell me what you think about it.
Okay, if I get it on VHS, I might send it to you, let you have it, just to own on VHS. Start your collection.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I mean, man, dude, it's hard to start another collection because it's like if I buy in something like this He-Man figure,
Now you
Fucking
gotta
get a He-Man.
now you gotta start collecting He-Man. I will say the old Castle Grayskull
Mm.
complete cost a lot of freaking money. Incomplete cost a lot of freaking money. They have one though at Vintage Toy Mall here in Tulsa that's 99% complete. They said and they're selling it for $700. So I mean, I think that's kind of a good deal. I think it's all right. But
Yeah. Oh,
anyway, yeah.
number two movie, I have to say Saving Private Ryan.
Haven't seen it. I want to
Oh,
see it really bad. Tom Hanks is incredible. I
mhm.
think Matt Damon's in it, right?
Yes. Man,
hmm
wait.
I need to see
Yeah.
it.
And third movie, oh man, there's so much. Um, damn it, man. See, I always struggle with the third movie. Um,
You're not the only one. I
I would
promise.
have, I would have to say, dude.
WrestleMania 1. I don't know.
Fuck. Damn it. I don't know. I got to. I don't want to get anybody mad, but uh, what's that fucking? See, I can't even think about the name now.
That's all right.
Have you seen the Naked Gun movies?
I haven't seen any Naked Guns,
Oh
unfortunately.
God.
I need to check them out.
The first one's pretty funny. I have to say Naked Gun series too.
Nice, nice. Okay. So that's a solid stack. All right, two more questions, like I said. All right. Top three favorite professional wrestlers of all time. Who are the best?
First one has to be Razor Ramon.
Mm, Bobby.
Second one, Macho Man.
Nice.
Third one, oh, that's another one. um, I either struggle with Rey Mysterio or
Mm, he just hit Hall of Fame.
yeah, and what's the Eddie Guerrero.
Both legends. Both legends. That's a tough toss up right there, man. That's a tough toss up. I can't choose that one for you at all. That's too difficult, man. I will say I've spent way more time watching Rey Mysterio than Eddie.
Yeah.
So I'll probably go with Ray. But Eddie's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Nonetheless, R.I.P. You remember that storyline they did, where Eddie took Dominique,
Oh
Ray's son, and he's like, "I'm his dad" or whatever, and I'll be a better father than you ever were, basically to Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio had to like fight to get his son. It was pretty intense, bro. Do you remember this?
yeah, I mean the storylines back then, dude, were fucking intense.
They were beautiful. They knew how to write stories back then. And do you know where that inspiration came from, man?
No.
RIP to the late, great Jerry Springer. I feel like WWF and wrestling moving forward, man, was inspired by the drama written on Jerry Springer. I'm telling you, take those Jerry Springer storylines and they match up with a lot of like pro wrestling storylines. I'm telling you, it's Jerry Springer inspired professional wrestling storylines these days. I'm telling you.
Beautiful, man.
It is. Did you know he died?
Yes, I did, man. That was one of the shows that helped me grow up as a kid.
Same. I swear my family's from that show. Not only did I grow up watching Jerry Springer, but I also grew up watching Jerry Springer in a trailer park. So like, it only makes sense that
Oh.
yeah, we should have been on the freaking show, bro. I swear to God. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Last but not least, man, this is a comic book podcast. You know that. Give me your top three favorite comic books of all freaking time.
Mm. Oh, dude, I love the DC Deceased series.
Okay.
That
Okay.
is that's number one right now. Second, I would have to say The Last Ronin.
Nice, nice, nice.
The third one, you got me into Preacher.
You digging Preacher? That's one of my favorite choices of all time. You know, I love Preacher, man. You can't go wrong with that, brother.
Mhm.
Ever by any of those three choices. I haven't actually read Deceased, but I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Jules talks to me about it quite a bit. But that's amazing, brother. I love your choices. Great selections. Rob, I've had a blast hanging with you, man. Talking figures, talking art, talking podcasting, talking all things under the nerd sun, brother. Um, do you have anything you want to plug on this show before we end it today?
Well, guys, you guys can go follow me at the Class World Podcast on Instagram. That is Class World Podcast 89. Add me, I'll add you back. Go see who is it? My Facebook. That is Robin Jackson with the Class World Podcast. Follow me on TikTok. I'm on TikTok, Class World Podcast, where you see a video of my big adventure with me at the Epic Toy Show. So go see that video. And yeah, that's about it, man.
I will say now
Oh,
I can finally
oh,
go and watch your Instagram live where you do the
oh yeah,
unboxing
and
and you go walk around. Go ahead.
oh yeah, don't forget to follow the Turtle Island Boys too. That's me, Classic Wolf, and the brother Russell Sonigo from Unsolved Mysteries of the Reservation and Oki podcast.
Nice, nice. Definitely check out that show, guys, as well. I've been on that show. Go listen to my episode specifically. Run that up, you know what I'm saying, so I can come back, kids. Big love to you, man. I appreciate you coming and rocking with me today, brother. As you know, you're my boy, man. So it was just like hanging out and talking with you like we do on the phone every single night, brother.
Yeah,
No
every
worries, no
single
worries. Every single night, kids. We're on the phone late, late, late
night.
to the early morning, just talking about Wonderoos. You know what I'm saying? And toys, so plastic toys.
Yeah.
uh Kids, thank you so much for tuning in to the Comic Cons podcast. Again, I was one half of the show, King Castro X. You can follow us on all social media except Twitter. We don't do the tweet thing yet. Not yet, kids. But just type in Comic Cons podcast, kids. That's KHANS. Again, that's Comic Cons podcast. As well, all streaming platforms, YouTube, Spotify, and that good stuff. Check us out, kids, at Comic Cons podcast. Go subscribe, go follow, share something, collect something, kids. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful pleasure again, Rob, having you in the building. Thank you so much. Without further ado, kids, go collect something, fellow cons, and we're out. Boop, 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 boop. Nice.